While you guys were busy getting outsmarted, outplayed, we were here, thinking, but not a lot. Today, we're coming at you with the dumbest 10 IQ plays in Fortnite. That's right, we're returning to the age of the caveman. Bonk! Jokes aside, we really have gone back to the Stone Age in Fortnite with Season 12. I mean, we are currently at a point where the best emote the Epic Games team could think of was the same floss emote, but with one hand. And the best skin in the shop right now is literally Barney. Watching to the end to decrease your IQ. Why would anyone want that? Number 10, the shopping cart. Now, Courage JD is well known in the Fortnite community for his quality gameplay and prowess as a player. This first clip isn't exactly the best showcase for that, unfortunately. It does, however, make me laugh loads watching the pure panic on his face as he struggles to make it up a hill and out of the storm pushing a shopping cart. But the 0 IQ play doesn't come until after he finally makes it. Suffice to say, there were some misclicks involved. Oh my god! After the shopping cart decides to backpedal into the storm, Courage hops on and goes down with him. As his health drops down to a 0, he fully panics before hopping out of his seat and leaving the room. Poor guy just wanted to do some grocery shopping, and when the storm rolled on in, my favorite part of this clip for sure is the perfectly cut scream at the end as he's off camera facing the massive L that he just took. Number 9 is the dumbest decision ever. This next play is pretty rough to watch considering how far we've come as players since this was captured. Back in Season 2, it was easy to forget just how dynamic the Fortnite world is and how damage to structures actually breaks them. This unlucky player goes for a play that in all fairness would have worked out in 9 out of 10 other shooters. Unfortunately, however, in Fortnite, it is one of the worst plays a person in this situation can make. After failing to clear his last opponent out with those nades and eliminating himself, his reaction is just priceless. Him just eyeing the camera for a second and realizing what he did before putting his palms to his face in pure disappointment. I'm sure we've all blown ourselves up with nades before, but this guy just takes it up a notch with this fail. Number 8, the launch pad. Oh man, this one just hurts to watch. This brings me back to before the game would auto-place a floor when you'd put down a launch pad and really makes me appreciate that update just a little more. Watching this poor guy struggle so hard to put down a single launch pad is so rough, considering how many times he does the same thing. After all these failed attempts, it was expected to see him get shot down, but hearing him yell in panic made this clip even better.
No! No! Hey, wait.
Although considering how his teammate managed to sneak up on the last guy, this might have been worth it as a tactful play to distract the opponent. Number 7. Tim's Boom Bow play. Our next streamer for this list is none other than the popular streamer, Tim the Tapman. Honestly, with the amount of Tim damage he takes from falling, I don't know how you wouldn't expect to see him on this list. This time, however, he does something a little bit worse than falling off his own builds to get knocked. After running off from an enemy with a scar in retail, he finds himself a boom bow right under the electrical tower beside the building he ran out from, using this to knock his opponent by shooting them through the fence gates, which I didn't even know you could do. Tim then goes on to do the one thing he's most famous for and downs himself. Watching him blow himself up with the boom bow is the most Tim thing I've ever seen. It's like watching Mr. Beast give away a house or seeing only Nick Merck's forehead on his face cam.
Tim,
I will defend my home.
His vision is based on movement, Tim.
Ha!
Kind of smoothie. Oh,
Tune into the stream and Tim the Tapman is down.
Prepare yourselves for number 6 because when you boogie bomb yourself, things get interesting. For this play, I honestly barely know what to say. After throwing an impulse and sending himself toward the last opponent on the map, he sees an opening to land a boogie bomb and pick up the win for the round. Of course, since this is a list of low IQ plays, it's easy to tell that this doesn't end how the player wanted.
What? I killed myself? What?
If I were him, I would be high-key tilted, considering how strange it is that a different grenade effect like the Buggy Bomb would take away his invulnerability to fall damage that he got from the impulse. Either way, it's a really big L for this poor guy. I doubt he's going to be boogieing at all after that one. Number 5 is the trap. Following Courage and Tim as some of the massive streamers making the list, we've got Daquan from TSM making some questionable plays in this game. After just winning a fight, we've got our boy Day grabbing some loot before he runs right under an enemy trap, which of course knocks him down low. He takes the Chug Jug in his inventory, burning a whole 15 seconds of game time in the process. He then proceeds to pick up the big pots he dropped and runs right under the same exact trap again. How does this happen, man? He got clapped by it not even a half a minute ago, and somehow he forgets exactly where the trap was.
Chat, I don't have a brain. Chat, I actually don't have a brain.
But number 4, them keybinds. You guys use keybinds? All of us forget keybinds from time to time, but this clip is on a whole nother level. A player gets knocked in the storm, and thanks to the still relatively new mechanic of being able to pick up a teammate and throw them, there seems to be a really easy route to getting out of the storm and getting back up on HP. Unfortunately, however, the player who has to send this player into the safe zone has a bit of trouble with reading the keybinds on her screen. It's just rough to watch. She even gets the other player onto her shoulders at one point before again setting her back on the ground. Seeing her laughter after it shows that she at least got a laugh out of her rather questionable play.
No, I'm carrying you out.
Throw me out.
I can't carry. Oh, H.
What do you mean you can throw me? Throw me out! Throw me out! Elena, throw me out!
I can't. I'm choking.
But number 3, when you're too close to the edge. This next one is also pretty rough to watch as we see a player making his way around the Chapter 2 map along the zip line magnets. He gets up to one of the power line towers and grabs some snowmen from on top and tosses one down before getting into it. Unfortunately for this player, he didn't really think about his placement of the snowman or to move it a little bit before getting out. He pops back out only to fall off the tower he eliminated by fall damage. To the player's benefit though, it seemed pretty early in the match, so it could have been worse. Number 2, oh my, can we get an F in the chat for the default lads? A kind gesture in any game is to give a newer player a win to help them build confidence in themselves as a player. This kind soul sees a bush and tries to offer up exactly that to the newer player, but sadly, this doesn't exactly pan out as planned. As the storm closes in, this unfortunate default is unable to make it up the hill and instead runs out and away into the storm. With his health quickly dropping out there, our kind player runs out and gives the default the opportunity to finish him and win the game still. Sadly, the default doesn't connect with a single shot and loses the match in the process. My heart will go on. Please drop a like, as one like equals one prayer for defaults around the world. All I need is a campfire. The man himself, Ninja, even has his blunders every once in a while, and this clip's a really good example of exactly that. Low on health, it's easy to see that he would do next to anything to get some heals for him and his boy Tim. Catching a glance at a campfire on the hillside right next to him, he of course jumps at the opportunity to grab it. Keyword there is jumping, as instead of successfully grabbing the campfire and getting himself and Tim some health, he accidentally jumps under and falls to get knocked by fall damage. I have a sneaking suspicion that this wouldn't have happened if Tim wasn't in the game. Maybe fall damage just follows Tim, kind of like a curse. It's very plausible.
Campfire. And I got the...
Next up, healing the enemies.
Wait. In that box. Dig him. I downed him. All right.
I am throwing.
Over there. Put a thing on the floor over there.
We've already mentioned Nick Merck's forehead once in the video, but we've also got a really questionable play from him here as well. Listen, I'm all about spreading the love, but I think Nick has to tone it down a little with deciding how to throw heals out to his opposition. Obviously, that wasn't the intention of our controller pro, but regardless, it's hilarious to watch, at least after his team doesn't notice, and he manages to still hit for loads of damage with the stink bombs even after his mishap. Number 1. When you find the RPG and think you're good, dropping into Lazy Lakes and finding a rare chest first seems like a really solid way to start a match of Fortnite. Made even better with a gold RPG, which in any part of the game is a great pickup. As is customary with a list like this, it's unfortunately not an item that gets used to the best of its ability. After seeming really confident if anyone were to push her, it's a tragedy to see how she somehow managed to knock herself with that same RPG.
Bro, I get this kid one shot.
I backed out because
I didn't want to play that one without you.
The way she instantly backs out and says she didn't want to play the rest of the game without her friend alive is hilarious, especially since her friend ended up seeing the playback afterwards and laughs about it too. But that wraps up our dumbest Fortnite 10 IQ play. Click the annotation on screen to check out our other video and make sure to smash the like button. Did you Hulk smash it? Hit it, but hit the annotation. Do whatever you gotta do.